The movie begins with Elvira and her sister Alma, alongside their widowed mother, Rebecca, riding to their new home in the French suburb area. Upon arriving at their destination, they are welcomed by a man known as Otto and his beautiful daughter, Agnes, who welcomes them into their home. In the next few minutes, the two adults get married. Agnes takes Elvira to show her around the house and introduces her to Isak, a stable boy who takes care of the horses in the barn. Afterward, she takes Elvira to her room, where she shows her some of the expensive jewelry she possesses and some garments. Seeing this, Agnes is so happy that her mom has finally married a rich man and that now they can live a comfortable life. Through the window, she can see the towering castle and longs to be the princess of the Swindleland kingdom, as that has always been her dream since she carries the book that contains the prince's poetry. In the evening, while the family celebrates their union, Otto grabs a piece of cake and throws it at Elvira's face. In that awkward moment, the women still laugh as if it's a joke until Otto suddenly can't breathe and has a heart attack, causing him to spit out blood and die. The following morning, Elvira brings coffee to Agnes's room and tries to comfort her by sharing a story about how her family had to move on after the death of their father. Agnes, however, lashes out at her, saying she has no decency, mentioning that if it weren't for the money her mom possesses, her father would never have married her mom. After hearing this, Elvira rushes outside to her mom's room to inform her that the Otto family has no money, not realizing that the husband's family has shared the family possessions and that the only thing they're left with are a few coins. Her mother collapses in tears, not knowing what to do next because no rich man would want to marry her as she's too old with two daughters. Elvira promises to marry the prince, and Rebecca tells her to look in the mirror as a reminder that she's too ugly to become a princess. In the morning, news from the castle reaches their home, and Elvira quickly rushes outside to hear what the messenger has to say. In the message, the king and his son, Prince Julian, are inviting all the noble virgins to a ball at the castle. After giving them the invitation letter, Elvira can't help but fantasize about her moments with the prince. Her mom learns about the invitation and immediately calls a doctor to help prepare her daughter for the ball by first removing her braces. Afterwards, he intends to tame her nose and remove the lump so it can look straight and make her look more beautiful. Rebecca accepts to pay double when he finishes with the aesthetic surgery. For a start, Rebecca picks the shape of the nose she wants for her daughter while the doctor proceeds with taking out the braces without any pain relief. The doctor then takes a chisel and a hammer to cut through Elvira's nose, causing her to scream in pain while her mom watches in satisfaction and her sister in horror. At the training center, different maidens have enrolled to be trained on how to be charming princesses and make the prince fall in love. Elvira appears to sit alone with some rope tied to her head as a support for the tamed nose. A few minutes later, Madame Sophie enters the room to tell everyone that she and another lady would oversee the selection process. Anyone who performs really well would pass the first class and be selected among the princesses that would be at the ballroom, reminding them that not only would the prince be there, but all the rich men across the land. So if they don't get the prince, they might get to go home with one of the wealthy families. The class begins, and their first instruction is to learn how to dance like a princess. When the instructor turns around and sees Elvira's face, she shrugs and tells her to move to the back, calling on Agnes to replace her position. During dinner, Elvira is served a lemon portion while everyone else feasts on rich, potent food, including Agnes. Agnes tells Rebecca that she has selected a date for her dad's burial, but Rebecca replies that there's no money for that now and that she has to wait until after the ball at the castle when Elvira eventually gets married to the prince. Angry about what she just said, Agnes reminds her that the medication for making Elvira look beautiful is more expensive while her dad's body is rotting in his room. But Agnes simply tells her that some things cost money and that her dad's funeral shouldn't cost a dime. Since her daughters are also his sisters, she will be sharing some of her clothes with them. Agnes gets angry and leaves the table to go pray to her father, only to find that his body is already decaying. The following days are filled with different training sessions that include balancing a book on the head and greeting the prince. The list of people who passed the training and made it to the next round is mounted, and the girls quickly rush to check their names. Some get excited while others leave with sad faces. Elvira checks her name and is shocked to find that a name was cancelled for hers to be written. She smiles in satisfaction as she keeps fantasizing about moments with the prince. In the next class, the instructor shows them a special move and asks who could dance exactly the same way she did. Everyone raises their hands including Elvira, so she picks her to show the steps. After some moves, the instructor stops the music and calls out to her saying she's a failure and that she doesn't like her at all. If not for the bribe her mother paid, she wouldn't have made it this far. The instructor then calls out to Agnes and two others to show the class how to do the dance moves while Elvira cries in the corner. That evening Elvira tries on some of Agnes's clothes, but she's too fat for them to fit. In the morning, during a meeting with Madame Sophie, Elvira tells her that she feels hopeless because she's too ugly and fat and the prince wouldn't look at her twice. But Sophie tells her that's not true, as she sees so much of herself in her and offers her something to help with her situation. She rides on a horse with her sister to the woods, where she shows her the gift Madame Sophie gave to her, revealing it's a tapeworm that would help her get slim and beautiful and hard for the prince to ignore. Once that is done, she can drink an antidote to take out the worm and begs her sister to keep it a secret. Alma thinks she's taking it too far and heads back home with her horse, ignoring Elvira when she screams for her to come back. Afterwards, we see Elvira swallowing the pill that contains the tapeworm. That evening, when she gets home, Elvira can hear some humping noises in the barn and goes to check. To her shock, she sees the stable boy and Agnes making out together. The next morning, Elvira watches as Agnes is dragged out of her room by Rebecca, who found out about last night. She takes off her necklace and tells Agnes she's lucky she's not throwing her out of the house. From now on, she has no rights and will be working as a slave in the house. Agnes watches through the window as Isak is thrown out of the house while naked. 3 months later, Elvira can now take off her mask to reveal a very beautiful, straight nose that her mom admires so much. She now looks very slim and fit, thanks to the worm she ingested. She looks out the window to see Agnes now working as a slave to milk the cows. Next, she undergoes another gruesome aesthetic surgery where she's forced to keep her eyes open so she can get some eyelashes installed. As she screams out in so much pain as the doctor promises that she's going to look very beautiful this time. At night, Elvira can't sleep because of the pain from the surgery and at the same time, can't see since her eyes are covered. When she gets so hungry because the tapeworm needs to eat, she goes to the barn to find something to feed on. As she can't see, Elvira gets scared of the noise coming from behind her, so she hides, but it's just Agnes who takes pity on her condition and offers her some food. The following day during class, the instructor now finds Elvira attractive enough for her to lead the next choreography. When she's home, she eats uncontrollably, and Agnes happens to work as a maid to help her with everything, including reading out her favorite poetry. When she starts to brush her hair, Elvira is terrified to find out that her hair is falling out and goes to her room to hide. Meanwhile, her mom has a visitor who has brought her a special gown to make her look exceptional at the ballroom. While checking out the gown, the man notices Elvira's hair falling off, revealing she's not looking well at all. Her mom sees this and can easily see her scalp due to so much hair loss. Not wanting to know the cause, the man simply brings out a wig and places it on Elvira's head to cover her shaggy hair. That night, Elvira eats like crazy, while Agnes is in her room checking on her favorite gown, secretly intending to go to the ball. Elvira sees this and gets jealous that Agnes is going to be present at the ball party, so she grabs Agnes's gown and tears it to shreds. Rebecca hears the noise and comes to separate the girls. Agnes leaves the room while Rebecca assures her daughter that Agnes wouldn't make it to the ball as she has nothing to wear and that she would be the most beautiful girl in the room, telling her to go back to sleep after giving her some potions. In the other room, Agnes is seen crying on the corpse of her father, when a bright light shines through the room, and it appears to be the spirit of her dead mother, who helps her with a shoe and a dress to wear to the castle to meet with the prince. At the castle, the maidens are introduced to the prince, each coming out to dance and showcase their bosoms to him while their resumes are read out loud so the prince knows what he's dealing with. When it gets to Elvira's turn, everyone is marveled at her beauty, wanting to take turns dancing with her, even the prince's friend admires her so much. Every male queues up to dance with Elvira, and when it's the prince's turn to pick a maiden to dance with, he goes straight to Elvira and asks for her hand to dance. While they dance, Elvira can't help but feel tearful that the moment she has always dreamed about is now right in front of her. Suddenly, a maiden enters the ballroom, and immediately the prince ignores Elvira and goes to dance with Agnes right in front of her. This shatters Elvira's dream of ever being with the prince. She cries and starts to feel sick, rushing out to throw up. To her shock, it's the eggs of the tapeworm that's causing her to feel this way. Her mom quickly comes to help, and Elvira cries out saying she's dying. Rebecca cleans her up and tells her that there are other great men lining up for her and that she should pull herself together. Agnes spends the rest of the night dancing with different types of men, and she can't help but keep seeing her mom drunk and laughing with multiple men. Worse is seeing Agnes dancing with the prince. Agnes quickly leaves the ballroom, and the prince chases after her. He comes back a few minutes later to announce to everyone that any girl whose leg fits the shoe he's holding would become his bride. That night, Elvira gets home filled with hatred towards Agnes and grabs a knife to stab her, asking for the shoe. As she tries to attack Agnes, Agnes quickly moves away and knocks the knife from her hand. Agnes is able to run upstairs, but Elvira catches up with the knife ready to end it. When her mom hears the noise, Rebecca tells her daughter to get back to bed. She had her chance with the prince, now she had to quit the act and go to sleep. It turns out her mom brought home a young man to spend the night with. Seeing that the shoe the prince had in hand was Agnes's, Elvira tries to wear it, but it doesn't fit her leg, so she does the unthinkable. She grabs a knife, places her toes on a table, and chops off her toes so they can fit into the shoe. As she yells out in excruciating pain, the stable girl and Agnes quickly rush to the room to see what's going on. While in pain, Elvira keeps begging her mom to help her fit the shoe on her leg. As soon as she passes out from shock, her mom takes the knife and chops off the toe on her second leg. While unconscious, Elvira dreams about finally wearing the shoe and it fits her leg perfectly. When she wakes up, she finds that her 10 toes are gone. Outside, a messenger announces that the prince is here and that all noble virgins should come outside to see who the shoe fits. Since she can't walk, Elvira rolls down the stairs, and sees Agnes leaving the house in a fine garment as she takes one last look at Elvira before going to meet the prince, and the messenger says the shoe fits, meaning Agnes gets to be the bride of the prince. With this, Elvira cries in disappointment as she now sees the prince leaving her. The stable girl finds her and asks her for the tapeworm antidote, so she pours some milk in a bowl and helps her ingest the liquid. Seconds later, Elvira starts to puke blood as the worm starts to leave her mouth. The stable girl sees this, and to help hasten the process, she starts to pull out the worm with a brute force. More than 10 meters of tapeworm escapes through her mouth and starts wiggling on the floor, so the girl picks it up to cut in half. Afterwards, the girl enters Rebecca's room to steal some gold and finds her humping a man, so she simply ignores the girl and continues with what she's doing. Later, we see the stable girl helping Elvira to get out of the house by holding her legs while she moves with her hands. She helps her get on a horse and together they leave the house, intending to cross the border to another town. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and would love to see more from this channel, please like and subscribe.